Hello, it's Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for our November 22nd lesson in A Course in Miracles workbook for students. Lesson 326, I am forever an effect of God. I am forever an effect of God. We're reading out of the original edition. Father, I was created in your mind, a holy thought that never left its home. I am forever your effect, and you forever and forever are my cause. Forever and forever, you're my cause. As you created me, I have remained. Where you established me, I still abide. And all your attributes abide in me because it is your will to have a son so like his cause that cause and its effect are indistinguishable. Long sentence, but since I messed it up, let's read it one more time. I think you probably got it. That God wanted us to be just like him, and so he made it to where that's always the way we are. We're part and parcel with God. Where you establish me, I still abide, and all your attributes abide in me because it is your will to have a son so like his cause that cause and its effect are indistinguishable. Let me know that I am an effect of God, and so I have the power to create like you. And as it is in heaven, so on earth. Your plan I follow here, and at the end, I know that you will gather your effects into the tranquil heaven of your love, where earth will disappear and separate thoughts unite in glory as the Son of God. I hear a deer walking through the woods over there. It kind of got my attention. I wish I could just show you all what I'm looking at. Anyway, I could. Let's just stay with what we're doing. Sorry about that. Your plan I follow here, and at the end I know that you will gather your effects into the tranquil heaven of your love, where earth will disappear and separate thoughts unite in glory as the Son of God. Let us today behold earth disappear, at first transformed, and then forgiven, fade entirely into God's holy will. You know what? I am going to just send it over there just so that you can see what I'm looking at. See if you can. There's a deer over there somewhere. Where? I'm not exactly sure. They blend in. They're almost the same color as the fallen leaves, and just the twigs, the brownish grays of the winter forest. They're well hidden. It's amazing. Okay, I am forever an effect of God. I am forever an effect of God. Now, let's go take a look at our text reading. We're ready to start we're on paragraph 43. We're going to start in paragraph 42 under the correction of error, chapter 9, section 6, salvation and God's will. Salvation and God's will. And let's see what else I have here for you. I wanted to show you a couple things. Let's see if I can just put this in. Okay. Now, what I've got here is some Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts, you all know, little miniature cabbages. I found this on healthline.com. I'm looking for seeds, which varieties I want to plant. On healthline.com, the Brassica oleraceas, which this is a variant of Gemifera, but they're high in nutrients, rich in antioxidants, and the antioxidants they have they're not the omega-3 fatty acids. They're a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. In other words, the body has to make the omega-3 fatty acid. You can get it in fish oils, but when it's plant-based, it comes from this ALA, which is alpha-linolenic acid. So anyway, it's high in that. may help protect against cancer, it's high in fiber, rich in vitamin K, may help to maintain healthy blood sugar levels, may reduce inflammation, and it's high in vitamin C. So there's some nice things about Brussels sprouts. And something else, I was looking at my Baker's Creek catalog, and listen to what it says here. It says about the Brassica oleracea. They're an old world cabbage relative that are grown for succulent flower heads or buds. Brussels sprouts originated in the Mediterranean but were perfected in Belgium. Cool climate, Belgium. Possibly as early as the 1200 ADs. Brussels sprouts are a cool season biennial, so they thrive in places with long, cool growing seasons. For growers with mild winters, Brussels sprouts grow best as a winter crop. They can tolerate cold much better than heat. Try to grow when temperatures range between 30 and 75 degrees. So they're clearly a spring and summer and fall crop around here. And it, with just a little covering where the temperatures don't get down too unbearably cold, you could grow them all winter long, I'm confident. And that's probably one we need to be considering without even heat. Just put a little covering of glass or plastic up and let them be in there, and they'd probably make it all the way through the winter around here in the Ozarks. So a variety, we'll just read about one of them right now, the Groninger, Groninger. Groninger is an easy to grow, steady producing variety. These medium to small sprouts are an ideal choice for first timers. Sprouts form a tight head and maintain a delicate flavor even in variable weather. Well, that's what we'd have around here, warm days and cold days. Groninger Brussels can handle a light frost and will improve in flavor with the cold weather. This variety has received the RHS Award of Garden Merit. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like somebody's recognized it as being a pretty valuable one. So Groninger seed is one that I've got marked that I will probably make sure I grow next year. All right, now let's take a look at our text reading. And I will, let's see, 42. The ego will begin to attack your motives as soon as they become clearly out of accord with its perception of you. This is when it will shift abruptly from suspiciousness to viciousness, since its uncertainty is increased. Remember the range of the ego we read about yesterday? Suspiciousness at its best and viciousness at its worst. Yet it is surely pointless to attack in return. What did it say? So let's start over again. The ego will begin to attack your motives as soon as they become clearly out of accord with its perception of you, that you're unloving. This is when it will shift abruptly from suspiciousness to viciousness, since its uncertainty is increased. Yet it is surely pointless to attack in return. What can this mean except that you are agreeing with the ego's evaluation of what you are? If you're willing to see yourself as unloving, you will not be happy. You are condemning yourself and must therefore regard yourself as inadequate. Would you look to the ego to help you escape from a sense of inadequacy it has produced and must maintain for its existence? Can you escape from its evaluation of you by using its methods for keeping this picture intact? 43. You cannot evaluate an insane belief system from within it. Its own range precludes this. You can only go beyond it, look back from a point where sanity exists, and see the contrast. Let's look at that again. This is what we're doing when I so encourage you to spend time in the silence. This is one of the things that you're doing in that silence, whether you know it or not. You cannot evaluate an insane belief system from within the belief system. Its own range precludes this. In other words, the belief system has a starting point and an ending point and doesn't understand what's beneath it. You know, Einstein said something similar to that you can't correct a problem at the level the problem was made. You have to go beyond it. Well, this is kind of what it's referring to here. So its own range precludes this. You cannot evaluate an insane belief system from within it. Its own range precludes this. You can only go beyond it. Look back from a point where sanity exists and see the contrast. Only by this contrast can sanity be judged as insane. With the grandeur of God in you, you have chosen to belittle and to lament your littleness. Within the system which dictated this choice, the lament is inevitable. In other words, the fact that you're going to be sorrowful is going to be inevitable because of where the starting point. With the grandeur of God in you, you have chosen to belittle and to lament your littleness. With the system which dictated this choice, the lament is inevitable. Your littleness is taken for granted there, and you do not ask who granted it. The question is meaningless within the ego's thought system because it opens the whole thought system to question. Wow. That's what I think we need to do to bust through the egg, the thought system that's keeping us contained in an ego prison. An ego prison. Paragraph 44. We said before that the ego does not know what a real question is. Lack of knowledge of any kind is always associated with unwillingness to know and produces a total lack of knowledge simply because knowledge is total. Not to question your littleness, therefore, is to deny all knowledge and keep the ego's whole thought system intact. You cannot retain part of a thought system because it can be questioned only at its foundation. Was it based on the concept of unity and oneness? Or was it based on the concept that you're divided from unity and oneness and that it actually is a threat to you now? Quite a different starting point of two thought systems. You cannot retain part of a thought system because it can be questioned only at its foundation. And this must be questioned from beyond it, because within it, its foundation does stand. The Holy Spirit judges against the reality of the ego's thought system merely because he knows its foundation is not true. Therefore, nothing that arises from it means anything. The Holy Spirit judges every belief you hold in terms of where it comes from. If it comes from God, he knows it to be true. If it does not, he knows that it is meaningless. Whenever you question your value, say, God himself is incomplete without me. Whenever you question your value, remind yourself, if you think you're feeling shameful or guilty or belittled or less than or inferior or not strong self-worth, whatever the feeling of limitation and littleness is, say this. Whenever you question your value, say, God himself is incomplete without me. Wow, I must really be valuable. God himself is incomplete without me. Even my blunders, all my imperfections are what makes me me. In some sense, I just heard someone say, and I thought, there's a truth to that. We're all unique little energies. How many religions are there in the world? I was thinking, he was talking about how many different ways are there to access the divine. And that's what religion is, spirituality. And, if there's 8 billion people, then there's 8 billion points of light. There are all ways to get to God. Who says there's just 12 major religions or 20 or whatever the number is, or 1,000 or 10,000? Each of us have our own connection. And it's unique and beautiful. And look what he says, whenever you question your value, say, God himself is incomplete without me. It's italicized. He wants us to remember it. Remember this when the ego speaks, and you will not hear it. You won't hear the ego if you just remind yourself, God himself is incomplete without me. The truth about you is so lofty that nothing unworthy of God is worthy of you. Wow. Choose, then, what you want in these terms and accept nothing that you would not offer to God as wholly fitting for him, for you do not want anything else. Return your part of him, and he will give you all of himself in exchange for your return of what belongs to him and renders him complete. You. Let's read that last one again. Whenever you question your value, say, God himself is incomplete without me. Remember this when the ego speaks, and you will not hear it. The truth about you is so lofty that nothing unworthy of God is worthy of you. Choose then what you want in these terms, and accept nothing that you would not offer to God as wholly fitting for Him. For you do not want anything else. Return your part of Him, and He will give you all of Himself in exchange for your return of what belongs to Him and renders Him complete. Give yourself to God, He gives Himself to you. Wow. Completely. We give completely, He gives completely. All right. We're using it in the masculine, in the he. Hope that doesn't offend people. If they're following along this particular study, they're coming from that kind of a phraseology. If you're moving beyond it now, don't forget where you came from. And we can use terms like God, that is, mother, father God, some people are starting to say now. And I can certainly support that. That's a wonderful way to look at it, because God is our divine parent. He takes care of us in every way, nurturement and wisdom. All right, let's go take a look now at our. Did we finish that? Yes, we finished that section. I think we finished the chapter. No, we still have another section in the chapter, maybe even a couple more. I'm not real sure. So we'll pick up tomorrow on grandeur versus grandiosity. Is that? Yes. Okay, now let's take another look at our text reading. I am forever an effect of God. And under that, we're reading, what is creation? Creation is the sum of all God's thoughts, in number infinite and everywhere without all limit. And that's you, by the way. You're one of God's thoughts, and you are in number infinite and everywhere without all limit. Only love creates, and only like itself. There was no time when all that it created was not there, nor will there be a time when anything that it created suffers any change. Forever and forever are God's thoughts exactly as they were and as they are, unchanged through time and after time is done. God's thoughts are given all the power that their own Creator has, for He would add to love by its extension. Thus His Son shares in creation and must therefore share in power to create. What God has willed to be forever one will still be one when time is over, and will not be changed throughout the course of time, remaining as it was before the thought of time began. Creation is the opposite of all illusions, for creation is the truth. Creation is the Holy Son of God, for in creation is His will complete in every aspect, making every part container of the whole. Its oneness is forever guaranteed and inviolate, forever held within His holy will beyond all possibility of harm, of separation, imperfection, and of any spot upon its sinlessness. We are creation, we the sons of God. We seem to be discreet and unaware of our eternal unity with Him, yet back of all our doubts, past all our fears, there still is certainty. For love remains with all its thoughts, its sureness being theirs. God's memory is in our holy minds, which know their oneness and their unity with their Creator. Let our function be only to let this memory return, only to let God's will be done on earth, only to be restored to sanity, and to be but as God created us. Our Father calls to us, we hear His voice, and we forgive creation in the name of its Creator, holiness itself, whose holiness His own creation shares, whose holiness is still a part of us. I am forever an effect of God. And it's kind of a long prayer this time. It starts off, and then the write-up that he gives us is only one sentence long. So the prayer first. I am forever an effect of God. Father, I was created in your mind, a holy thought that never left its home. I am forever your effect, and you are forever and forever are my cause, and you forever and forever are my cause. As you created me, I have remained. Where you established me, I still abide. and all your attributes abide in me, because it is your will to have a Son so like his cause that cause and its effects are indistinguishable. Let me know that I am an effect of God, and so I have the power to create like you. And as it is in heaven, so on earth. Your plan I follow here, and at the end I know that you will gather your effects into the tranquil heaven of your love, where earth will disappear and separate thoughts unite in glory as the Son of God. Where earth will disappear and separate thoughts unite in glory as the Son of God. Where separate thoughts unite in glory as the Son of God. We are the Son of God. We are creation, the Son of God. All the thoughts of God, they're all limitless. That's what we are. We're thoughts of God. Accept your birthright. I and the Father are one, Jesus said. And he wants us to say it. Let us today behold earth disappear, at first transformed and then forgiven, fade entirely into God's holy will. So we're using forgiveness to awaken in every respect. Let us today behold earth disappear, at first transformed. Hear the crow. Let us today behold earth disappear, at first transformed and then forgiven, fade entirely into God's holy will. I am forever an effect of God. I'll make up some Brussels sprouts. I wanted to let you know I'm still keeping these wet. They haven't sprouted yet. The broccoli sprouts, the Brussels sprouts, which are little baby cabbages, I'll eat for lunch today. And I guess I'll sit here a few minutes and meditate. Maybe see that whatever animal is walking through the leaves. Thank you all so much for joining me. I am forever an effect of God, and so are you. We are forever an effect of God. Say, until we see each other again tomorrow, I am forever an effect of God.